Okay, all right. It's time to do one of these things again. And today we're gonna be talking about, what was it again? Top 5 Milsim guns that have come out relatively recently for under $300. Look. I even got this like cool like two-tone M4 here for you. You know, by default, when you two-tone a gun, it's automatically Milsim, right? Isn't that right, Cisco?
What if it's two-tone red and blue?
No. Two-tone, flat dark earth and black. It's automatically Milsim.
That's not what you said.
Just try to type the video. What's going on, you guys? My name is Boaz, and today, again, we're gonna be going over 5 different kinds of airsoft guns right now that have come out within recently the past year or so, because you know we review a lot of guns, but sometimes people are wondering, hey, Boaz or Cisco or Kevin, what are your personal recommendations? What do you recommend on a budget? We get asked that a lot, so maybe we could help kind of distill everything down to like around 5 different choices within a set budget range, so that way you guys can get some ideas whether you're looking for a new loadout or a new gun, new setup, or even try to give Jimmy or Johnny a good old birthday, Christmas present. Hopefully you have people that you know that have December birthdays, so that way you can combine both their Christmas holiday gift with their birthday gift, you know? So yeah, let's get started on this list, and it's gonna go in ascending order, if you will.
Number 1, G&G GTP9 gas blowback airsoft pistol.
All right, first gun on the list, okay, GTP9. Now, how is that specifically so Milsim? So, like, hear me out, okay? Of course, we're gonna start the first one of the pistol. It's obviously more affordable than a lot of these rifles out here nowadays. But why the GTP9 specifically? Well, first of all, let me talk to you about the performance on this bad boy, okay? Like, yeah, I know it's not TM compatible or whatever, you can't. But that's fine, because out of the box, it already looks freaking sick. Okay, not to mention that you could take that bad pupper and throw it into a SMC9 package. That just elevates it so well. But again, out of the box, I mean, it performs so fantastic. I mean, G&G is just out here just innovating, right? Well, while all the other airsoft companies out there are just partying, they have been studying the gas blowback, okay? So they got the nice tunable, adjustable hop-up system in the barrel, just makes it so easy to adjust, and that whirl valve system or whatnot, you know, just so gas efficient, just so good. You get like almost 3 mags out of 1 fill of gas. I mean, you have to get to some pretty Gucci territory if you're gonna get a custom pistol made to be that gas efficient, okay? It's out of the box, and it's under $300. I think it's $130. All right, so very good choice, especially if you want to start picking up a sidearm and start playing. Okay, but how does that correlate into the Milsim? All right, the military simulation. Well, first of all, it does kind of look like, kind of, sort of, not saying that it does, but it kind of, sort of resembles, you know, the block. All right, the good old block. But it's ambiguous enough to where it doesn't have to be a block, because depending on what kind of Milsims you play out there, right? You got your typical NATO side, you know, the American-ish forces, and you have like your other foreign country that you're battling. It's such a versatile pistol because it's not specific enough to be like a block and you're forced to run like a NATO specific kit. It has some leeway room because it's an original design from G&G. That's why it gets the first pick on the list. Again, we're starting out at the lower end of the list, right? So the price is still very low. So if you have a $300 budget and you decide to pick this bad puppy up, you have a lot of extra room in your budget. More magazines, more gas, more BBs. Maybe you could even get a custom holster for it, maybe a light. Or if you do pinch a little bit more of your shekels, get the kit for the SMC9. You know, the world is your oyster.
Number 2, Classic Army M4 Mark 16 Skirmish ECS.
Okay, of course I have to plug this gun. I mean, it is such a ridiculous value, okay? We're talking about the Classic Army Mark 16 ECS Skirmish. What else does it say? Skirmish, it's always a mouthful. Skirmish ECS AEG Airsoft Rifle, okay? Coming in at $212. I mean, it is the most solid, quickly yet disappearing, but very solid mid-tier airsoft gun, okay? We're talking, all right, that durable polymer body that actually flexes, so if you drop it, again, when you run around on the Milsim field, sometimes the place that you play at a Milsim event, sometimes the area that you play in itself is dangerous. So you're probably gonna fall and trip and drop your gun, okay? And the sad reality is that a lot of metal receiver body M4s out there, all right, so surprisingly are very brittle. So sometimes it takes a fall and then all of a sudden you don't have a gun anymore. Sorry, you know. So sometimes having a polymer receiver might be a little bit more beneficial than you think. Okay, and let's talk about the rail. Okay, let's talk about that super clean ergy style rail, very kit correct for those of you who are, you know, trying to do a specific impression loadout. Okay, and it's that nice mid-length rail because a lot of these Milsim events are not just strictly outdoors. You know, you got to clear buildings and houses and stuff. So it's that nice, perfect middle ground. It's my favorite length, by the way, of M4 when I, you know, choose to run an M4 style system, which is always. Okay, and then we got the same Gucci internals as the PXG9 out there. So you got that ETU in there with the programmable nature of that ETU, which I don't really touch, but you know, it's there if you want it, and you could run a level 1 light bulb out of the box, and just internally, so good. And you know, if you're someone like me that doesn't like to upgrade things out of the box, I mean, it is so perfect. Honestly, you could just slap on some accessories and, you know, laugh all the way home. You know, just cha-cha real smooth all the way home because you got a nice, flexible, lightweight, durable gun that just, you know, it just does the job, you know? But again, it's mostly, or pretty much completely version 2 compatible, except the ETU, you know? So you could upgrade it all the way if you want. You could even swap out receivers for a metal receiver or a metal rail if you want to. You know, it's, again, it's a blank canvas. You can't go wrong with the Mark 16. In fact, that's probably one of our most recommended guns we've gotten, you know, throughout the whole year. So we have to include it.
Number 3, Lanta Tactical Gen 3, LT04B Gen 3.
Okay, yeah, you probably have seen this coming from a mile away. You were probably surprised that this wasn't the first entry on the list. But again, it's something that we just have to include because it just is so good. And that's the Lanta Tactical Gen 3. Was it the LT04B G3? Okay, so yeah, I know it's kind of a plain Jane, very run-of-the-mill M4A1 wrist style gun. If that's the aesthetic that you like, I mean, more power to you. But we picked this because, again, blank canvas. All right, like again with the polymer construction, you know, keeps the cost low and the weight down low. Again, very flexible. You could take a hammer to it and run it over with a car and still be fine. In fact, I'm just gonna plug the video right there where we completely torture test the hell out of the Gen 3 Lancer. But the internals are just, it's so good. Like, again, for the money, like it rivals, if not, maybe slightly outperforms the Mark 16 ECS by Classic Army. Just that Nebula MOSFET from Zion Arms that somehow they got a hold of and started putting into their guns. Like, it's just such a tank. You know, and for me as a Milsim player, yeah, performance is nice, but I'm more looking forward to, you know, that long-term reliability over just straight performance. Because at the end of the day, I need a gun that I could keep around for an entire weekend of straight playing, and I need that gun to run. So if I were to sacrifice some performance for more reliability, you know, that's usually what I choose over, you know, just to see how far or how fast I can shoot. So that's kind of what the Lancer Gen 3 kind of does. You know, they've definitely come a long way from their first generation to second generation, and now it's the third generation. It just, you know, they're just incrementally making better and better steps, and I wholeheartedly would endorse the Gen 3 for a Milsim game. Again, because it's such a blank canvas. You know, you buy that gun and you basically just strip all the external parts away. You know, that's what I would do personally, just because I'm not a huge fan of the classic M4A1 aesthetic. You know, put on an M-LOK rail, you know, change out the stock and put an optic and a foregrip and whatnot, and a flashlight, and you're good to go. Oh, also, not to mention, comes with that really, really nice high-speed magazine for Lancer Tactical. 130 rounds. I mean, in my opinion, still a lot of ammo. I personally run mags that are carrying less BBs than that, but you know, it's there, and it'll just feed flawlessly. Well, keyword is reliably for a long period of time. You know what time it is. Actually, I have a sad story to tell you. So remember how we said that Kevin eats ice soup or whatever because y'all out here not subscribing, not supporting Airsoft Jedi directly, not supporting the channel, I'm mooching off our content. All right, I have for you some ice soup I would like to eat in front of you. I have this conveniently in this nice thermos bottle to retain the heat or lack thereof because it's ice soup. It's cool. that is surprisingly very bland. There's nothing in this. It's just ice and water. I'm gonna keep drinking this until you guys subscribe and you guys support Airsoft GI directly. So yeah, I'm sure there's like sad piano music in the background or something.
Number 4, Arcturus Nyo3cq 10-inch M4 M-Lock AEG.
What? Are you upset that I put another M4 on the list? I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, most of you Milsim players out there anyway just run NATO kits. Okay, so don't come to me complaining that, oh, someone pick M4. Listen, I'm pretty sure most of you guys just run M4s anyway, so stop complaining. Okay? Now, this particular gun, okay, it's been around for a while. Okay? I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not a very recent addition into the airsoft market, but it's so good. It's such a staple. It's just, we were so surprised how quickly this gun became a staple within the community. Okay, the Arcturus Nyo3cq. All right, my favorite length, the 10-inch length. Again, just so it's the perfect middle ground for shooting people outdoors or clearing buildings and houses. Okay, it's just a perfect length. And don't even get me started on the look. I mean, just look at this thing. It's so clean. It's just begging to be accessorized, okay? Again, put on an optic, put on a foregrip and a laser unit if you want and a flashlight. You're good to go. Anyway, aside from that, all right, let's talk about the internal quality of these Arcturus guns. All right, if you haven't watched our video, first of all, why haven't you? Where have you been? Okay, go watch the video and then come back to this because the internal quality is just, it's so good. Just the trigger, just every time you pull that trigger, just click, just, you know, it's like clicking a mouse. You know, every time you spam that trigger, it feels so good. The micro switch is so nice. Okay, and let's talk about the high torque motor paired with the Gucci rotary hop up and the Type 4 inner barrel. I mean, it's just a combo made in heaven. Listen, if you know me as a player, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people may or may not agree with me, but it's just, I don't like opening up the gun, okay? I don't want to open up the gun and like tinker around with it and then watch like a million YouTube tutorials about how to put the gun back together, and then you realize you ended up with a few extra parts when you reassemble the gun, and you go, open it back up again and, you know, figure out where these spare parts basically go back into your gun. Listen, I'm not about that, okay? So the Arcturus, just as a whole internally, it's so well made together. It's so well put. I don't need to worry about that. So I just leave it alone and look at the gun. It's begging to be accessorized with that clean M-Lock rail, okay, and the clean pistol grip. All right, you just again throw on an optic, throw on a flashlight, a laser unit if you want to be fancy, okay. Foregrip, hand stop, angle foregrip, whatever your heart desires. Just accessorize it and you call it good, okay. Long-term reliability. Okay, I could take that thing out for a weekend, leave a battery in all weekend long, and every time I pull that trigger, I know it's gonna fire. Okay, that's what matters to me at the end of the day.
Number 5, Lanta Tactical AKS 105 with skeleton stock AEG airsoft rifle stamped steel.
Last gun on the list is what I would personally kind of tell you. Okay, I'm not officially endorsing this. I might get burned for this, but my personal take is it's a cheat code for the LCT AKs, all right? If you want that LCT quality of the steel and the milled, the stamped steel, whatever, you know, external Gucci quality, we don't want to pay the LCT price. This is my opinion will be the cheat code, and that's the new Lanta Tactical AKS 105. Okay, specifically with the skeletonized stock, by the way, because there's something about skeleton stocks it just tugs at my heartstrings a little bit. Okay, so again, it's a mid-length. Is that mid-length? I don't know if it's considered mid-length in real steel, but you know, it has a shorter barrel, okay? Not too short like the 74 UN. That's a little too short, okay? But, you know, it's a little longer than that, but not long enough to be, you know, like the full-size 74 or the 47. Okay, it's a nice, happy in-between, okay? And the stamped steel receiver, it feels so nice in the hands. It's surprisingly well built together. No, I don't want to say it's just as good as LCT. LCT, they do something with their receivers. It's something magical, but it's as close to getting it without paying, you know, the Gucci LCT price. But internally, I will say that it is surprisingly, dare I say, a little better than LCT quality out of the box. Okay, just strictly speaking, from their hop-up design, their Type 4 inner barrel, they do put in a high torque motor as well as an ETU MOSFET, so that way you could actually run an 11-1 safely. Again, reliability, the key word here, reliably out of the box, okay? Now, I'm not a huge AK fan, sorry, but I just had to include this one because I know that a lot of you guys like running Op4 style loadouts, a lot of Roost 4 style loadouts, and that's basically what I recommend on a sub 300 budget, okay? Some of you guys might be asking, oh, why don't you get like an LCT PP19? It's out of the budget, okay? It's out of the budget. It's too much. It costs too much, okay? So we're talking sub 300, okay? And it takes all the TM version 3 gearbox style parts, okay? And yes, the specs on the externals, yes, you can switch them out for a rail system. You know, you could put in your Zeniko style, you know, receiver extensions and your Zeniko style rails and whatnot, and you could accessory. It's a blank canvas, okay? But I'm talking, can you take this thing out for a whole weekend? Just plug in a battery and just leave it running and run it for a whole weekend. Absolutely you can. Thank you guys for watching my very specific niche video about top 5 airsoft guns that I would recommend for Milsim under $300. Okay? Can you spend more than that for your Milsim loadout or a Milsim setup? Absolutely. In fact, I think a lot of people in that specific community do, because getting into Milsim is a very expensive endeavor. Now, the opposite, can you spend a lot less than that? Absolutely you can. But the real question is, will it be reliable enough to take it to a 3-day Milsim event? And to that, I might say, probably not. Okay, so all these guns up here that we listed up here on this crappy green screen in the back, all right, are available at airsoftgi.com. So make sure to stop by there for all your airsoft needs to directly support the channel. Okay, so that way we have to stop making these stupid ads about me eating ice soup. Okay, I think Kevin actually can't even afford the nice thermos bottle, so he actually eats his ice soup out of a plastic bag. He does the thing where like you get the plastic bag and then you like bite a hole into it and you like suckle from the teat, you know, from it. All right, it's a very sad and sorry thing to look at. Okay, we will have Cisco and Kevin also make the personalized list based around their personal play styles. All right, within similar budget ranges. Please let us know down in the comments what other guns you would like to see added to the list. Okay, I can already think of guns already that you guys are probably recommending in the comments below with a little taste of salt, that good old bitter salt, you know. Anyway, it's Boaz from Airsoft GI. We'll catch you next time.
Dinner.